Okay. This thing was getting really wonky just now. Like it told me it was too hot, but it doesn't feel hot. And I let it sit for just a minute to let it cool down, so hopefully it'll... whatever. Okay, so another example about reverse psychology that these Christian people are using. This was February 22nd, 2011, so this is very new, and this just... God, stupid and a waste of time. I think that's why I stopped arguing this fact, because I gave up on them. I was like, whatever, let them live in this fantasy world, but now that things are, they're trying to make church and state one, and they think it's a good idea, and stupid shit like that. So, I'm trying not to be depressed about it, because I gotta get my game face on, you know? I'm sure you all know. Okay, so this is called Systematically Dismantling Atheism. And, I mean, it's one of those things, like, can you blame these people for being atheist? I mean, look at your ass. I'm sorry. Like, you fucking crazy motherfuckers. Okay, just wanted to get that out first. So, there is... okay, I'll put a link below. Here is some examples of reverse psychology.
If you're an atheist, why do you believe that? How can you be so sure that there is no God anywhere? Why do you have faith in that position? The Christian knows that there is a God because of the evidence which is there. The atheist has faith that there's probably no God. You have to have omniscience. You have to know.
Okay, right there. What he just said, right there. Okay, the Christian knows that there is a God. Okay, that is their whole argument as atheists, that how do you know there's a God? Like, explain that logically to me. How do you know that? And they can't. So then he goes on and says, Christians believe, or Christians know there's a God because they feel. Or, well, no, he says, Christians know there's a God because of the evidence given, being the Bible. And I'm like, who wrote the Bible? Some men. So, like, yeah, that's totally discredited right there. Like, if we were in a very logical debate, you would fucking lose. They'd be like, I'm sorry, that's just an artifact of, like, a book of writings, like a book of poetry. That's, like, as close as it gets. It's not even, there's no science in it, there's, like, whatever. It's a bunch of metaphors and sayings for fucking when the sun rises and the sun falls, being the actual fucking, like, whatever. It's the philosophy and psychology all put into one back in the fucking day, whatever. It was these stupid anthropologists, fucking old motherfucking men. Okay, so, and I'm not against men or anything, I'm just saying at the time they're obviously putting women down, or whatever. So, believing in equality and whatever. Just because I have boobs and a vagina doesn't mean, like, I'm any different than you. I still have fucking blood and muscles and cells, that, whatever. Anyway, that's off the topic. Here you go. Oh, the second part. He says, atheists have faith that... we don't have faith that there's no God. We're asking the questions here, and he just fucking reversed that shit on us. Do you see that shit? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just, whatever.
For sure that there is no God anywhere. That would require omniscience. Why do you believe that way? What's the evidence that you rely upon for such a position? I don't think there's any. If you're truly an atheist, you have to admit that life is really just meaninglessness. There is no meaning in life, you'd have to say. If you were a consistent atheist, you have to take a nihilist position.
And there are atheists who do that. I don't necessarily, like, I don't like to be labeled, because my beliefs, like, stretch just as far as my experience goes, you know? But, like, this kind of no. But most atheists that I've known, well, except for the couple of them that just, I don't know, they don't know what necessarily they believe in, so they just deem themselves atheist. But anyway, most of them do admit that life is meaningless, as a whole, altogether. But, That's the thing with atheism. Like, it's very frustrating because you can easily contradict yourself. Yeah.
There's no meaning. A position where there is no transcendent morals. And yet, atheists these days will try to say that there is some overarching moral that they can appeal to, overarching morals, and they have no foundation for that position. Non-belief results in foolishness, results in no foundation for logic. You have no logical basis for what you're saying. You do not have the preconditions of intelligibility. So why do you really believe?
Reverse psychology. They have to keep this ball rolling. They have to keep these people believing this shit.
Would say that there is no meaning in life because they take the worldview to its logical conclusion. If there is no God anywhere, and everything just is what it is, everything's matter and motion, everyone is just a chemical organism, biologically speaking, not created by a creator, with no inherent worth, you're just a pile of molecules. Why would that have...
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say it all boring like that, because isn't it so much interesting when we talk about God and how wonderful He is and praise the blah blah blah? Like, see, it's all infliction, it's all psychology.
Any worth, why would your life have any meaning? Why would anything have any meaning? We're all just matter and motion, right? It's meaningless. And then when you die, you're just dead in the ground. Your life would have no meaning.
So what do you say to atheists who will go, well, that's not how I believe. I'm perfectly fulfilled in life. Things are pretty good. And,
this is a conference somewhere.
I find exhilaration in certain people that agree with me.
They don't even say that.
They might appeal to Dawkins or something. Oh, yeah, scientific discoveries, and they, think there's beauty and pretty things in the nebula and all that, how they talk.
They're not being consistent. If they're being consistent, then they would take the worldview to its logical extent. They're borrowing currency from the Christian worldview, or theism, as it were. The existentialists try to make their own meaning in life, and they say everyone can make their own meaning. Yes, but are you really being consistent with what your worldview has to offer? If it were truly true that there is no God anywhere, and you're just making a temporary meaning for yourself for the time being, what is that going to do for you?
So you're saying it's all relative, basically?
No.
Okay, right there, he just said, what use is that to you? So basically, he finds that Christianity is of some use to him, you see, and that's how all these religions work. If it's to some use to you, then use it, type of thing, and I'm just, no, it's fucked up.
They're saying, they would say that, that's all relative.
Well, yeah, you're saying, according to that philosophy, everything would have to be relative, but yet they act as if it's not by thinking there is an absolute inherent worth of humanity, that we ought to absolutely treat each other with respect and so forth.
It's like how, in the Bible God said that these men suppress the truth of unrighteousness, but then by God's common grace they're restrained. And because they're image bearers of God, they're made in God's image, to a certain extent they will unwittingly show the truth, which is that they are made in God's image.
What I argue is atheists have
see, I don't know if this guy, necessarily believes in religion or Christianity. I think he just knows how it works for some reason, because he's like, well, he almost gave away too much shit right there. Like, if a man thinks of, that he's built in God's image or whatever, he'll show the truth of, what God's image is. But basically, when a man thinks that, this is psychology yet again, when a man or woman, whoever, thinks they're built in God, this infinite power that created you, that you have so much respect for, or whatever, in their image, you have respect for them. It's kind of the same thing as for your parents. Like, if you go out, you're wearing your parents' face, so you don't want to disgrace them, or you don't want to do anything fucked up. You basically have all this pressure against your will to not be yourself, and blah, 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 up to these stupid ethical standards that are set there for whatever reasons. So, yeah, he just basically said, so it makes people behave. That's basically what he's saying.
They do have morality. Everybody does. Okay? But the problem is, like the sign says, logically invalid and all, is that it's saying that when you take it to its furthest conclusion, they don't have a basis for why something is wrong.
Yeah, they might act in a moral way, but that cannot justify morals as a non-material value. They cannot have any justification for any non-material value. They can't justify logic as a non-material thing. And the laws of logic are inherently non-material. So how does the atheist come up with that? Some of them make it their ultimate authority, of course, but then they're just doing so inconsistently with their worldview.
And even the thought that there is no immaterial reality, whatever,
I'm not going to
is
say anything
immaterial.
about that.
Yeah.
The thought itself. They'll say it's the brain, but see, the brain is only the muscle used to think, but the thought itself is metaphysical.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, Tom?
Right. And James, I think, hit the nail on the head with that. Or maybe he was using a nail gun. He didn't need a hammer. But if atheism, as I said in a different video that I put up a long time ago, if atheism is true, then there is no reason to believe that atheism is true, because
Reverse
your brain
psychology.
is just bouncing. You know, the chemicals are doing its thing inside your skull, and the next guy has the same thing happening. And really, who says that those mean anything?
Oh, I'm done with
are-
this. I'm sorry. I have to stop now because I'm just getting pissed off. They're just dragging this shit on and on and on, and yeah, I forgot that this shit is still going on because I gave it up in high school, like I said. So, I don't know. Like I said, it's all fucking psychology, and it's fucking annoying. I'm sorry. I'm so close to the camera. Whoa! Alright.